Okay, good afternoon. Today at On the Road of Recovery, we have Lori from Barberton, Ohio. To get started, if you could share, how would you characterize your relationship with your loved one before recovery?
Difficult, stressful, an emotional roller coaster that never knowing what I was going to walk into when I got home, whether it was going to be my husband sober and himself, or drunk and emotional and needy. It was hard. I would leave work and all I'd want to do was go home, but home was the last place I wanted to go because I never knew what was going to waiting for me there. So,
And how many years did you experience that?
my husband had always drank quite a bit, but after his daughter died of an overdose, he basically spent 3 years drinking, not working. So those 3 years were hard.
I imagine.
I couldn't talk to my best friend because he was the problem. I couldn't talk to my husband because he was the problem. It's not him that was the problem. It was the alcohol and the way he was trying to numb himself with it.
Absolutely. And how did that affect your family, your extended family, your relationship with family members, neighbors, friends?
I shut myself off from a lot of people. I didn't want to go around them because I didn't want them to see what I was going through and how bad things had actually gotten.
And how did that affect you internally of basically being trapped?
It's a really good way to put it. Helpless. Not knowing what to do for him, but then knowing deep down that what I needed to do was to stop enabling him by working and giving him a comfortable place where he could wallow.
Absolutely. So what were some of your biggest fears and challenges before he found recovery?
That he would never quit and that he would die and that I would lose him.
That's a pretty miserable way to live and to endure time, day after day. Did you experience any physical or emotional challenges yourself?
Yeah. Very short-tempered. Not being able to help him would frustrate me to the point where I would get angry. There was one morning I woke up and I was still mad at him from the night before, and I was getting ready to go to work, and I kicked the wall. I found the stud, broke my foot, put my shoe on, drove myself to work at the hospital, and went into the ER where I worked and told him I broke my foot, and telling him I fell down the steps because I didn't want him to know how bad things were at home.
Absolutely. That's it. Very, very difficult times. So when he made the decision to reach out and ask for help, what were your what were your hopes and expectations regarding treatment, recovery housing, recovery support?
We lived in a very rural area at the time, and my father was suffering from dementia. My mom was having a really hard time. I couldn't pay the bills anymore. I couldn't keep up. And I finally made the decision that I needed to stop enabling him. And I told him, I'm moving in with my parents. I love you. I don't want to lose you. But I cannot sit here and watch you kill yourself by drinking. And I'm moving in with my mom to help her. I'm not making house payments anymore. I'm shutting everything off. you need to figure out what you want out of life, and praying a lot that it would bring him back to me. He stayed at the house for a while with no power, no electricity, and then he called his father to come get him, and his dad said, "Not a problem, son, I'll take care of you." His dad picked him up and dropped him off at Haven Arrest in Akron. And he was there until he got into IBH. He made the decision that he wanted our life. He wanted his life, which was the most important thing, that he realized he couldn't do this anymore.
So once he got into treatment and started working a program and started getting help, what were there? Could you describe how your life changed or started to change?
When he got out of IBH, he got an apartment, and I told him I did not want to move back in, for him to come live with me, because I was afraid of him falling back into that security of having that buffer so he could relapse. He got his own place. We dated. I would go up and spend the weekends with him. He used to tell people that he had a wife and a girlfriend. They were both me, because we were married, but yet we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely. And what did you do for yourself during that time when you made the decision that you were no longer going to enable his active addiction and moving in with your mom? What did you do anything else for yourself? I mean, that's a big, huge step. Was there anything else that you did for yourself?
I finally started seeing my friends again and did things with them. Talked to them, was more open about what had been going on. I didn't spend a lot of time away from my parents' home because of my father's condition. I worked. I actually put a quilt together by hand of my old scrub tops and pants, and sat there and sewed them all together and made a quilt.
Fabulous. That's fantastic. And we all find different ways to be able to heal. So being able to find what works for you, that's pretty spectacular. Did you ever go to any type of self-help groups or get any type of professional, seek any professional help at all for yourself?
I didn't go professional help. I had gone to al-anon meetings previously. I went to a lot of meetings with him after he got out, and I enjoyed going to those because being a normal person, I will never completely understand what it's like to be an alcoholic or an addict. Going to the meetings gave me a better understanding of what they're going through and what drove them to where they are, because you hear so many different people's experiences and fears, and then seeing the miracles that happen in recovery just gives you hope, and you know it's there. You just have to really want it. And it's, I don't know how to explain it.
You did a great job of sharing what your experience was and that process that you were able to take. So I guess my next question would be, what would advice or suggestions would you have for other families in similar situations?
As hard as it is, you have to understand when you are enabling your loved one, you feel you're helping by doing things for them, by supporting them financially and stuff. And in the long run, all you're doing is enabling them and letting them continue with the same behavior that they're at. They don't have to. They need to find their bottom of the barrel. And then when they decide they want help, be supportive. Don't throw the past back at them. Don't say, well, when you were drinking, you did this. That's back there. Now that they're in recovery, you tell them you're doing good. You can do this. You have faith in them. And keep encouraging them. And if they do relapse, don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Words to live by. How would you say that sobriety has changed your life? And if you could expand a bit on what is possible today that wasn't possible in when your husband was in active addiction.
Having a relationship with his family. His mother didn't even come to our wedding because of their relationship, because of his drinking and things that it caused. Rick and I were always a good couple together, but we're stronger now. He used to always tell me, behind every good man there's a good woman, and I'd look at him and then tell him, give me a good man to get behind. That's all I wanted. I could see what was inside of him, but he couldn't see it himself. You just don't ever give up. I mean,
absolutely. So you spoke a little bit about if somebody does relapse, in your story, were there times that there were relapses, and how did you deal with that?
He was in AA before, but he never really quit drinking. Once I gave up trying to control everything and trying to fix it, and placed our relationship and his life in God's hands, it worked. And he, knock on wood, has not relapsed since that day.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And that is possible.
Yes.
That definitely is possible. Relapse can be part of somebody's story, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
So do you, for your future, being able to live it seems like a really wonderful life together, do you see what are things that you would like to do what are things that you would like to do as a couple together moving forward? Are there things vacation spots that you'd like to go to?
Vacations, yeah. We're going back to Maine this year, and I'm looking forward to that. His maternal grandmother is from Maine. He has family up there, and I love it up there. But I want to travel. I want to see places, and he does too. Next year we're hoping to go out and see the Badlands, which we've never been there, and just, it's like I said, my perfect retirement would be our home to go back to, but having a small motor home and just going where we want to when we want to.
Absolutely. And
in doing things like that with him, it's always, he's looking up, where is there a meeting? Where can I go? So that's good, because even when we travel, he continues to find meetings, and he goes to meetings and he meets people, and it's good.
That's pretty spectacular. Is there a part of his recovery that you have seen that you were unaware of that would be part of your life today?
Through recovery, he is now a recovery coach, and he gives his recovery back to people, and he loves it. It was a long journey, but he's finally where he needs to be because he helps other people. Sometimes it can be frustrating because you sit down to dinner and the phone rings and he takes it because it's a client that might need help, and he talks to him. It does put our relationship on hold sometimes because of other things, but I do understand that his recovery is first, God is second, and I'm third on the list. And I'm okay with that. I don't have to be first. As long as he's sober, I'm happy.
that's a beautiful thing to share, and I think it is so important. It can be difficult having a loved one in recovery, because there are certain things that people have to do in order to be able to maintain their sobriety, and that work for them, and sometimes they're not always easy. So being able to have an understanding and an acceptance of that can be very powerful. Is there anything else that you could share with, if you had one word to be able to share with the world of what recovery means for your family, what would that be?
A future.
Very cool. Well, thank you for speaking with us today. We appreciate it, and we hope you and your family are able to continue along the